I have to be honest. Today we're doing something different. I'm just gonna yap to the camera about this week and honestly how rough it's been for me. I'm nearing the end of my cycle and I think I've put a lot of unnecessary pressure on myself to post one YouTube video a week while also building my mobile app every day after work for like 1 to 3 to 4 hours, and then also filming my progress as a documentary while being at the end of my cycle where I have the lowest energy. This is the time of your cycle where your progesterone drops, testosterone drops, and estrogen drops. Everything is at an all-time low. And so it doesn't make sense for me to be pushing myself this way. I learned a lot about my cycle and training around my cycle, eating around my cycle. And I just thought about this while I was in the shower, but I haven't really been scheduling my posting schedule or like the time that I, film and edit and post YouTube videos and then also build my app around my cycle as well. During follicular and ovulation phase, you have like 10x energy. I feel like I can take on the world. I can do a million things and I will not be tired. But during this phase, I feel incredibly tired. I'm like passing out in the middle of the day, which I never do. I never take naps other than during this phase. I'll fall asleep as I'm coding. And that's just a sign from my body and I need to listen to it. I need to honor it. So this week I've been slowing down a bit, sort of. Towards the end of the week, I've been slowing down, and this week I'm making a promise to myself that I will slow down. So I'm not trying to put out some high quality video that is super scripted and gives a lot of value. This will have zero value. This is just going to be me yapping. I also don't know if you noticed the walls behind me. This is my office. Me and Peter started to Limewash the walls on Saturday. I say Limewash because I don't think I'm doing it correctly, and I'm also not using actual Limewash. This is like the DIY paint version of Limewash where you mix two colors. I can actually show you. Probably shouldn't be on my desk. This is styrofoam board that I just cut and taped to the tray to separate the two different colors. And you dip your paintbrush in half of each, or 25, 75% of each, whatever you want the ratio to be. This is not the color that I envisioned in my mind, so I think I'm gonna have to go back with the white coat. It's not white, it's called cream. The lighter shade to kind of brighten up the room a little bit because it's not exactly what I had envisioned. But if you like it, let me know. I don't know how I feel about it yet. Peter says it looks great and that I should just hold off on making any decisions because right now I'm not really thinking clearly. I wanted it to be like a brown neutral color like that you would find outside in nature. The darker color is called Pure Earth, and then the lighter color is called Nice Cream. And I thought that they would contrast well together, but I'm not so sure. Or maybe we just need to do a second coat. So yeah, let me know what you think. Or maybe it is a good color and it kind of contrasts me. Don't know. Building my first mobile app has been quite the experience. I say that because I've made a lot of mistakes already. I feel like there are so many videos online of non-technical people building an app in like 6 days or 24 hours. I've spent about 21 days now, probably around 3 hours a day. That's 21 times 3, 63 hours. Maybe I'm over engineering things. Maybe I'm thinking too deeply. I'm not close to the MVP yet. I think I can be in a week. But as it stands right now, I just have 2 basic screens and auth setup. But, I've learned a lot. If I were to start over, I would have never used the boilerplate. I would have just started with Expo from the start. Technology changes a lot in just 1 year. So for something to be built like 6 years ago, the odds of it being up to date with the most modern practices, I know that it's been battle tested and it looks fine. It's honestly my personal preference to use Tailwind, and the Ignite boilerplate was not built for using Tailwind. Very clunky. A lot of old code in there that's not necessarily relevant anymore, and I just kept finding bugs and fixing them and updating, and it was just taking so long that I restarted, and it's been a million times better. But my mistake was thinking that I should carry on the same structure into a new project. So using the same structure of everything in a screen and a navigator versus like Expo, the new Expo, I don't know when exactly this was updated, but it works just like Next.js where it's file routing system built in. I think if I started over again, I probably could build an app in 24 hours, but yeah, this is a very realistic. I also have to remind myself of the reason why I'm building this app in the first place. It's a social app, which in all the books and podcasts and advice that I've read online about building an app and like trying to make money from it, building a social app is the worst thing that you could do and the least profitable. So that means there is a 99.9% chance that this app is not going to generate any type of revenue for me. I'm building it for myself. I'm building it for my friends. It's been amazing to see the impact that it's made on their lives already. I was talking to my friend who has been going through a hard time and just finding herself in really negative thoughts all the time. And I told her to try my app, just try logging a win or a moment that made you happy that day just once a day. I've learned the power of rewiring your brain. Like, our brains are supercomputers, and whatever we are putting inside of it, we're programming into how we think and how we believe. I've recognized in my own life how powerful thoughts really are, and just like actions, thoughts also compound. So whenever you have a negative feeling, you tend to have more negative feelings, and it's not because your life sucks, it's because you're looking at it that way. And when you have like that low frequency, you tend to attract other low frequency energy. And the opposite is also true. Like, if you think positive thoughts, like you reframe a loss into an opportunity, you start to see the world as like it's an opportunity, and then you start to attract more luck or opportunity into your life. I started as a way to log wins for the week and then share it with your friends, but really I think it is a very powerful tool to just be grateful for what you have in that moment, and also be able to look back on all those moments. Like, life is made out of moments, not milestones. Those moments lead up to the milestones. That's something that has been so apparent in my life. Like, I would have never gotten my first job had I not had a moment where I failed an interview, but I didn't take it as a failure, and I continued to go forward and continue to show up and try to get another interview. I wouldn't have gotten my first job had I not gone to a networking event and felt, at the time, shy, ashamed, embarrassed, like all these feelings. But I went up to the person and I talked to them anyway. And like, if I were to sit there and think about that networking event and focus on how it made me feel and limit myself to whatever my subconscious mind has like deeply rooted from childhood, maybe my parents telling me that I'm not good enough and those kind of things. If I sat there thinking of how it made me feel versus what actually happened in that moment that I can frame into something positive, I would have never gotten my first job in tech, reaching my big milestone. So I think it's really important to remember every bit of the journey. And I want to do that in my life because I do feel like I'm growing, like as someone who is constantly trying to improve and be 1% better every single day. I want to remember what I'm doing. I want to be able to share what it is I'm doing. I think it's so important to be able to see someone else's story so that you can see what is possible for you. As someone who grew up in a small town, didn't even know software engineering was a career, I'm living a life that I could have never dreamt of 10 years ago. I had no idea that this life existed. That's why I think it's so important for everyone to share their own story and not just like that big moment, because people, like, I want to know what it took to get there, every single moment, the highs, the lows, everything. It's all important. I shared my personal journey with the Discord community that helped teach me how to code. I got asked to do a couple coffee chats after, and someone asked me, like, you're so resilient. How did you persevere through everything? Honestly, I'd never been asked that before because I used to not be this person. I used to be so afraid to try and so afraid to fail. And if I failed, I would just shut down and not try again because I was too afraid. And I've built this over time. I honestly think it started with my fitness journey because when you go to the gym, it sucks. When you do it for the first time, you come back and your muscles are sore. And then you got to go again and you don't know what you're doing. But you just keep showing up because you know that doing it is good for you. And then over time, you like fall in love with the journey. You start to see the progress. You start to find other people that are on the same journey. You connect over that. And then it just becomes part of who you are. It's your identity. You start doing it every single day. Your little actions turn into your identity and you become someone who works out and has discipline to work out. And so doing that over time built up my physical resilience. And I know that I can do anything that I put my mind to when it comes to my body. But I then had to train myself to do the same thing for my mind and train myself to believe in myself the way that others might believe in me. I didn't really have many people who believed in me back then, but I do now. I didn't really know how to answer the question at the time that I was asked. And what I had said at the time was that I didn't really have a choice. I had to. Like, I had to keep going. I was broke. I was in debt. I wasn't happy. I wasn't living up to my potential. Like, what other choice did I have other than to just keep going? So that kind of mindset, now that I think about it, came from survival. And, that's not how I want to live my life. That's great and all to get me where I am today, but I want to live more in an abundant mindset. And that's exactly what tracking my moments every single day have done for me. I come from a place of, I know that I'm more than capable and I'm doing this because I want to, because I can make a difference in the world. And I will. And anytime that I doubt myself, I just look back on all those moments. And I'm like, yeah, you know what? You can do it. It's a proof list of all the moments that have led up to the point of your life that you are in now. I've only started tracking it the past year, but just looking back at the past year alone has made me feel so happy every time I do it. And it just brings me back to that mindset of abundance. I listened to this really good podcast with Michelle Obama on Aspire with Emma. Emma's one of my favorite podcasts. I just love Emma's energy and the fact that she is so ambitious while also trying to be her best as a mother. And that's exactly what I think about a lot these days. But Michelle talked about just showing up for your community, like helping the people around you in need in whatever way that you can. It doesn't have to be some big grand scheme where you change the world. Like, you start one person at a time. So the fact that it's already helped one person makes me happy. And, you know, if I can do one person a month, that's 12 a year. And who knows? So that's everything I wanted to yap about. I honestly walked into here not feeling the best. I don't have a script. I didn't know what I was going to talk about. Again, like I said, am in my luteal phase, and I had kind of low energy coming into this, and now I'm leaving feeling very energized. I feel rejuvenated. I feel like I'm so excited to work on my app right now. So I'm going to go do that. Let me show you Coda real quick. Coda, you're sleepy. You're a sleepy boy. Would you like to say anything?